I'm Andrew Boyd, I'm 25 years old and I stay in Dumfries, which is in Dumfries and Galloway. What had happened was I was woken through the early hours of the morning from a phone call from my brother Michael to say that my dad had fell unwell during the night and that he had actually had 999 called out to the house, and he was basically blue lights to the A&E in Dumfries because he'd experienced a cardiac arrest in his sleep. 10 years prior to my dad having his cardiac arrest, he did actually experience a heart attack as well. But he'd done all his rehab and he was fit. He'd done a lot of cycling and done a lot of activities. So at the time he wasn't having any issues heart related, but he was diabetic. So there was obviously an ongoing condition that he had to obviously keep insulin going into his body throughout his life, that he was injecting 3 times a day. So unfortunately there was that, but for the heart side of things there wasn't anything that we were aware of. At the time my mum was alone, like I say, it was during the night, so it was around about 3 o'clock in the morning. She woke up to find my dad was awake but breathing very heavy and sharp, trying to get a breath. And with my dad being diabetic, my mum thought instincts kicked in, get the EpiPen to put insulin into my dad's system. But when she returned back to the bedroom, he'd actually went from breathing to being totally unconscious, and he'd actually stopped breathing, and that's when my mum knew that he'd experienced a cardiac arrest. So she managed to get my dad out of bed and perform CPR, because with her working at the doctor's surgery in Lochmaben, she was first aid trained, so she knew obviously the ratio for the chest compressions and got my dad breathing again. But unfortunately he was unconscious, but at least he was back with us and he had that fighting chance because my mum managed to get him breathing again. I was just absolutely shocked because I spoke to my dad probably 6 or 7 hours prior to him having the cardiac arrest, and he never once said that he had any problems at all or felt any pains or out of breath or anything. He just sounded like my dad. So I was absolutely gobsmacked, and obviously I just started panicking and got really upset, and I was actually at my girlfriend's house, so it was just a matter of basically getting clothes on as quick as we could and then get into Dumfries to get up to the Royal Infirmary to be by my dad's side. He went from Lochmaben, which was where they stayed, to the Royal Infirmary in Dumfries to try and give him the treatment there, and then like I say, with him breathing, but because he was unconscious, obviously the nurses wanted to get him as much help as they could in Dumfries. So they had obviously all the medication getting pumped into his body to try and reduce all the tension on his body and basically get the heart to do as little as possible. So it was trying to give it time to recover from the experience. But because of how severe it was and how long he probably did go without oxygen before my mum managed to get him breathing again, that they wanted to get him up to the Glasgow Golden Jubilee as quick as possible. So it was just a matter of waiting really until there was the possibility of getting him up to Glasgow, because they were looking to do it via a helicopter because that's how severe it ended up being. But unfortunately it was needed elsewhere as well. So we were just at Dad's side at Dumfries until basically they got the ambulance that could take him up to Glasgow. My mum was very upset because she blamed herself, unfortunately, and there's nothing more my mum could have done, because if it wasn't for my mum, we would have been saying our goodbyes on that morning, because like I say, with my dad going into cardiac arrest, my mum got him back